I see my job as a person who frames the issue and gets it out in the plainest and simplest terms. I may not be able to get everything I want in terms of the final resolutions, but I am at least able to raise important issues that I feel need to be addressed when legislation that we're crafting is moving in a direction that I don't feel is going to meet the anticipated need.
Tell us how likely you think it is that the resolution passed today. Was it this morning that A160 was passed?
Yeah.
Tell us how likely that is to make it through both houses unaltered.
Unaltered, I would say, highly unlikely.
Okay, substantially altered.
That's a possibility, but the problem is that when you start substantially altering it, then you run the risk, of course it depends upon what you do, but you run the risk of really deviating from Windsor expectations. I feel the resolution right now, even though it got out of committee, I didn't vote in favor of it because I felt that there were still some things that needed to be strengthened or explained. Most particularly, the expression of regret in terms of what we're regretting, I felt needed to be strengthened and to really indicate that it is for breaching of the bonds of affections by doing something we were explicitly told not to do as a result of all the consultation and so on and so forth. The other concern I had is that we apologize for not anticipating the impact of our actions, but we never apologize for the action. And so I felt there was a disconnect, and that's why I didn't vote for it. And I can easily see either the orthodox having the same concerns that I have, and therefore trying to strengthen it in that regard, or the revisionists trying to make things more vague or deflecting the focus away from the what's the word I'm looking for? Away from the events of General Convention to the aftermath of General Convention, expressing regret for the pain and hurt that we caused, or expressing regret for some concept of inadequate consultation.
Okay, so A160 consists of, A160 really addresses only one of the three major requests of Windsor. We've still got moratorium on consecrations and moratorium on same-sex blessings. What are we to expect out of the special committee, and will it happen before the deadline?
Well, I think it will happen before the deadline. I think there's a recognition that, for example, with the consecration of bishops, that simply saying use considerable caution, or whatever the specific language is not enough. That if it's going to have any hope of being Windsor compliant, there's going to have to be some verb used that indicates, or noun that indicates stopping. And that it will have to be something that the General Convention will have to ask of the diocese of the Episcopal Church. So I think those are the two key things. It can't be a suggestion, and it must indicate some kind of refraining or some establishment of a moratorium. And the same thing for same-sex unions. The only difference being that with the same-sex union issue, we have to move beyond just simply saying we will not authorize. We have to get language that will indicate that we're not only not going to authorize, but in essence we're not going to permit any kind of public or private same-sex blessing. So in other words, if you do it, you will be going against what the church has asked, and therefore, hypothetically, you should be disciplined. I think it's going to depend upon the parish, but I will be very surprised if some parishes just don't go and do it anyway. Because again, many people see this as a justice issue, and therefore to stop is an injustice, and therefore by any means necessary, justice must be achieved. What I hope we'll get is language that at least addresses the expectation of Windsor and gives us a way forward by at least creating some, as people put it, accommodation space. There's still a lot more that has to be done, but if we don't take this first step, we could be in serious trouble as far as this church being a member of the Anglican Communion.